Princess Sorella stood before the tall viewing window of the Aranthal data chamber. Her slim fingers traced the glowing lines of a human biology report. She read the same footnote again. Humans did not reproduce all year by nature. Violet eyes narrowed. The princess felt a sudden flicker of doubt and pride. How could such a capable species be so limited by biology? She tapped the console, summoning Earth's liaison scientist, Dr. Malik. The cruiser hummed around her, but she heard only her own quickening breath. When Dr. Malik arrived, he bowed respectfully. He was a calm man with kind eyes and a gentle voice.
Your Highness,
he said, voice steady. Sorella held up the report's holosheet. These humans cannot breed all year, correct? She asked, each word a clear challenge. Dr. Malik studied. Her face then nodded once. By their natural cycle, that is true, he replied. The princess's lips curved into a slight smile. Then show me, she ordered. Let me see your proof. In that moment, a new mission was born. Back on Earth, Ambassador Reyes and his team moved quickly. They gathered in a bright conference room filled with human plants and soft light. Botanist Juno brought samples of earth flowers that bloomed only in spring. A medical technician arranged charts of menstrual cycles, hormone levels, and conception rates. They chose volunteers who had tracked fertility apps. Each person was ready to share personal data if it would earn respect for humanity. They felt a quiet thrill. They knew the stakes were high, to prove their worth, to show their ingenuity and heart. A day later, the human envoy arrived on the Aranthal landing deck. The princess watched them step forward in neat uniforms. They carried clear cylinders of soil, holographic tablets, and small cages of growing vines. Juno's eyes shone with pride as she presented the seasonal flowers. Ambassador Reyes spoke with confidence about choice and technology. Sorella listened closely, her heart pounding with interest. She saw courage in their faces and something gentle in their gestures. She felt the first stirrings of respect. The demonstration had begun. In the grand chamber, holographic display rose between them. Dr. Malik activated the cycle diagrams. Colors shifted to show fertile windows and childbearing ages. The graphs were simple and elegant. Reyes explained how humans used apps to track cycles, how medicine helped regulate fertility, and how each individual could plan a family. Sorella watched the lights dance across the ceiling. Data had its own beauty, yet she noticed the human faces behind each statistic. She felt their hope and care. Her stern facade softened. Next, the humans led the princess to the biogarden. Deep within the cruiser, bioluminescent plants lined the pathway. Here they planted earth flowers side by side with alien evergreens. Juno knelt in the soft soil and whispered to a budding bloom. "This opens only in April," she said, touching the petals. Then she pointed to a slender vine that flowered under artificial light all year. "But we can adjust conditions and cycles. Choose when to grow, when to pause." Sorella bent closer, inhaling the gentle scent of human flowers. She felt an unexpected warmth in her chest. As the day drew to a close, the princess returned to her private quarters. She sank onto a cushioned bench and gazed at the twin moons outside. Her mind replayed the day's images, the hopeful eyes of Ambassador Reyes, the careful hands of Dr. Malik, the soft petals of Earth's spring bloom. She realized she had asked for proof, but she had not expected to feel something like awe. Her heart was full of questions and a growing admiration for these humans, who controlled their own fate with science and compassion. Tomorrow, she would speak again, but tonight, she allowed herself to wonder what else they might teach her. Princess Sorella rose from her seat in the grand chamber, anticipation fluttering in her chest. Morning light filtered through the crystalline walls of the Aranthal, casting pale patterns on the polished floor. Today's demonstration would delve deeper into human biology, moving beyond charts and samples. She smoothed her silken robes, determined to learn everything she could. Despite her royal bearing, her heart thrummed with a mix of curiosity and pride. Could humans truly master their own cycles and choose when to create life? Well, she would find out. Dr. Malik approached with a small halopod hovering between them. activated it, and a pale blue hologram of a human uterus and ovaries appeared. The image rotated gently. Sorella leaned forward, studying every curve and contour. "Explain this," she commanded softly. Malak's voice was calm and patient. "This is the human reproductive system," he said. "Each month, an egg matures. Here," he pointed, "and the lining of the uterus prepares to nourish an embryo." He pressed a button, and sections lit up in warm colors. Without fertilization, the lining sheds. "This is menstruation." Sorella watched the colors shift. She felt a tender pang of empathy for the experiences these humans endured. Next, Dr. Malek summoned a holographic graph. It showed hormone levels rising and falling over 28 days. Peaks of estrogen, surges of luteinizing hormone, then a gentle descent. Ambassador Reyes narrated. "Humans track these patterns. We use medical tests and apps on our devices. We learn our bodies." Sorella noticed the sincerity in his tone. He was not boasting. He was sharing something deeply personal. A soft warmth spread through her. To think these humans laid bare their private lives for her understanding moved her more than any conquest could. The chamber doors glided open, revealing the biogarden beyond. Here, earth and alien flora intertwined beneath bioluminescent canopies. Human volunteers had arranged a small fertility festival. Stations ringed a central fountain, one where humans donned simple visors to see 3D cycle animations. Another where they held touchscreen tablets with calendar apps. Third where they wore wristbands that gently vibrated during simulated fertile days. Juno guided Sorella to a station with a sleek tablet. "Try it, Your Highness," she encouraged, her smile easy and bright. With a hesitant hand, Sorella touched the screen. A friendly interface asked for a date. She entered today's date, drew an elegant circle around a set of days ahead. "These are your high fertility days," Juno explained. Sorella's violet eyes widened. The idea of quantifying hope and possibility in neat symbols struck her as profoundly human. She felt a tender thrill like discovering a secret painted in light. The wristband on her arm vibrated softly. For a moment, she imagined herself as one of these humans. Aware of cycles and choices, the princess moved on to a station where volunteers demonstrated medical devices. They held up small vials of hormone test strips. "We use these," one volunteer said with gentle pride, "to confirm when ovulation happens." Sorella bent closer. The volunteer offered her a strip to hold. It felt cool and delicate in her palm. She thought of the strength required to face monthly change, to embrace weakness as part of life's power. That thought stirred something like admiration in her chest. At the final station stood a table covered in delicate pastries and teas, infused with Earth's herbs. The humans invited Sorella to taste. She sipped a warm, mint-scented tea, soothed her mind and body. Volunteers spoke softly of rituals they performed to comfort themselves during difficult days. Sorella listened, moved by their empathy. Their simple gestures, tea, conversation, community, had weight and meaning. She felt her own walls soften, revealing a curious hope that perhaps humans were more than resilient. They were wise. As the afternoon light deepened, the princess returned to the central fountain. She watched humans laugh together, sharing stories of their own cycles and challenges. For the first time, she felt not just respect, but genuine affection for these people. They had answered her challenge with grace, honesty, and warmth. Data was clear. Humans could choose when to grow life, supported by technology and community. But beyond the facts, they had shown her the beauty of vulnerability and connection. Princess Sorella closed her violet eyes and inhaled the mingled scents of alien blossoms and earth herbs. She felt a gentle pride in humanity's ingenuity and a quiet yearning to learn more. Tomorrow would bring her final judgment, but tonight she carried a new understanding in her heart. These humans had offered her proof. More than proof, they had given her a gift, their trust, and she would honor it. Princess Sorella followed the human volunteers into a bright-side room off the biogarden. The space smelled of fresh pine and warm honey. At its center stood a round table with a colorful board game laid out. The title read, Life Cycle. The princess raised a curious brow. Dr. Malek smiled. This helps us learn with joy, he said. Sorella's heart fluttered at the gentle warmth of his words. The human envoy gathered around. Ambassador Reyes explained the rules with a friendly tone. Each player moves a token through stages of life, he said. You collect knowledge points by answering questions about biology, health, and choices. Princess Sorella watched as the token-steeny human figures stepped on spaces marked fertility window, health check, and support network. She felt a quiet thrill at how the game turned facts into fun. Juno handed Sorella a token shaped like a spiral galaxy. Your move, Your Highness, she said with a bright smile. The princess placed her token on the board and drew a card. The card's question glowed. Name one-way humans track fertile days. Sorella thought of the holographic app and the wristband. She answered softly, we use apps and tests to learn our cycle. The human beside her nodded and awarded her the knowledge points. Sorella's chest swelled with pride. As the game continued, laughter filled the room. One volunteer struggled to pronounce luteinizing hormone, and everyone giggled when she said lutein zing too fast. Sorella's lips curved into a genuine smile. She felt warmth in her chest. This was no rigid court lesson, but a shared moment of joy. Each question sparked friendly conversation. How do you support someone on a hard day? With tea and kind words, another volunteer said. The princess felt touched by the simple kindness. At one corner of the board lay a stack of choice cards. When a player landed there, they read aloud, you decide when to start. A family. What matters most? The volunteer who drew it paused, looked at Sorella and said, love and timing. The princess nodded slowly. She thought of her own world, where duty often outweighed desire. Could humans truly balance heart and plan so gently? She felt admiration blossom. Dr. Malik's turn came next. He moved to support network and drew a card. Share one-way humans help each other during hard times. Malik smiled and spoke. We listen and we share comfort. We hold hands when tears fall. The princess looked at him, truly looked, and felt her own eyes grow wet. It was the first time she had heard such simple honesty from a scientist. As the final rounds neared, the game tokens advanced toward the legacy space. Here, players summarized what they learned about human life cycles. Ambassador Reyes leaned forward. We learned to honor our bodies, to share knowledge, and to choose with care. He swept a hand in a gentle arc. Our science and our empathy guide us. Sorella felt a trembling awe at the power of such simple words. When the game ended, Sorella rose. She felt lighter than she had in days. She clasped her hands before her chest. I see now, she said, voice soft but clear. Your knowledge is more than data. It is compassion made real. Humans bowed respectfully. In that instant, the princess felt a bridge form between her world and theirs. Later, as she walked back through the bio-garden, moonlight traced her path. She paused by a pair of earth flowers bathed in alien light. She remembered the laughter, the questions, the kindness. Her heart felt full. For so long she had ruled with certainty. Now, she held a new certainty. Humans were clever, yes, but also tender. They had taught her that wisdom could be as soft as a song. That night in her private quarters, Sorella gazed at a small crystal on her desk. Within it, she could see the spiral galaxy token from the game. She touched it, and memories of smiles and warmth washed over her. She closed her eyes and whispered to the silent room, thank you. In her mind, she planned tomorrow's final meeting. She would speak her truth then. But tonight, she carried human laughter in her heart. It was the finest proof she could imagine. Princess Sorella woke to soft light spilling through the crystal panes. She dressed in robes of pale silver and walked to the balcony overlooking the bio-garden. Her heart felt full of hope and a little nervousness. Today was the final part of the proof she had demanded. She would address her court and the humans together. She smoothed her hair and took a slow breath. In the quiet dawn, she thought of the kindness she had seen. She felt the gentle strength in every human gesture. Her pride had shifted to respect and wonder. In the grand chamber, volunteers arrived carrying trays of simple gifts. One held a small fabric banner painted with Earth's flowers. Another brought jars of honey from bees that pollinated those same blooms. Juno offered the banner to Sorella. "This is our sign of welcome," she said with a bright smile. The princess draped the banner across the center dais. She felt its soft cloth against her fingertips. The honey jars sat in a neat row. Sorella inhaled the warm, sweet scent. She saw care in every detail, her chest filled with gratitude. Dr. Malik stepped forward next, holding a small device that looked like a polished stone. He explained, "This sensor can read hormone levels in sweat. It helps someone know their body's needs." He placed it gently on Sorella's wrist. The princess felt a light pulse. Soft glow appeared on the device's surface. Malik spoke in calm tones about how humans used ideas like this to care for each other. Sorella watched. The glow shift, and she felt moved. It was more than science. It was a way to share warmth and understanding. Next came a story circle. A volunteer named Leah sat with a small group of humans and a few curious aliens. She told a tale of a family on Earth waiting for their first child. She spoke of nights spent in quiet hope, of songs sung by the window, and of letters shared. Between parents, when distance came between them, Sorella listened to the soft rise and fall of Leah's voice. She felt tears press at her lids. The story was simple, but it spoke of love that waited and grew. In that moment, she knew she had underestimated human heart. After the story, Leah led the princess to a low table with ink and parchment. She offered Sorella a quill. "Would you write a wish for the future?" Leah asked. Sorella hesitated, then dipped the quill in ink. Her hand moved slowly. She wrote, "May all life find strength and kindness." She held the parchment up for all to see. Smiles brightened the circle. Sorella felt a gentle pride and a deep connection. She realized that proof was not only in charts or devices, but in the wishes and stories that bound people together. As the afternoon sun warmed the courtyard, volunteers and aliens shared Earth. Music and alien harp songs. A soft melody rose, and Sorella closed her eyes. She felt the notes wrap around her like a gentle tide. Around her, humans and aliens swayed together. She did not command them to join, they moved as one. The music spoke of hope, of choice, of the beauty of life in every season. The princess's heart beat in time with the rhythm. She felt joy in unity and wonder at the power of simple song. When the music ended, Sorella walked back to the balcony where twin moons would soon rise. She held the parchment with her wish close to her chest. The world felt changed. She had begun with questions and challenge, but now she carried gratitude and trust. Tomorrow she would speak before her court and share her verdict. Tonight she whispered to the silent sky, "Thank you for this gift." In the gentle night she felt a promise blossom in her heart, a promise of friendship, of learning, and of life, chosen with care. Princess Sorella entered the grand hall before a gathered audience of alien nobles and human envoys. The tall pillars cast soft shadows on the polished floor. She lifted her chin, her silver robes swaying quietly. In her hand she held the parchment. With her wish, "May all life find strength and kindness." Around her guests waited in respectful silence. The princess's heart beat with calm certainty. She stepped onto the dais and bowed gently. The court's murmur hushed at once. Sorella folded her hands and spoke in a clear voice. "I once believed humans could not breed all year," she began. She paused, looking at Ambassador Reyes and the volunteers seated below. "But you have shown me more than biology. You have shown me the beauty of choice, the power of care, and the strength of community." A ripple of soft applause followed. The princess raised a hand to quiet it. She continued, "Your charts were precise, your flowers were lovely, your devices were clever, but most of all, your kindness moved me." She placed the parchment on a simple stand. "With this, I honor your gift of trust. Let this day mark a new chapter between our peoples." In that moment, a human volunteer stepped forward. She offered Sorella a small globe carved from earth wood. On its surface were etched patterns of waves and trees. The princess accepted it with a gentle smile. "This globe symbolizes life in every season," the volunteer said. "May it remind us that growth depends on care. Sorella held it close, feeling its smooth warmth. She bowed again in gratitude. Next, the princess addressed her own court. Let all future envoys carry earthwood globes as signs of friendship, she declared. Let our scholars learn from human wisdom, and let our healers share their arts in return. The alien nobles nodded, their eyes bright with curiosity. Sorella felt hope bloom in her chest. She realized this moment would shape her reign. She glanced at Dr. Malik, who gave a small, proud nod. Then she spoke to the entire assembly. I regret that I doubted your people. For your honesty, your openness, and your warmth, I apologize. From this day forward, Earth and Aranthal will stand together in learning and in life. A hush fell, and then applause rose steadily, mixing alien tones and human cheers. Princess Sorella stepped down and moved among the crowd. She stopped by Ambassador Reyes. He bowed, and she placed a hand on his shoulder. Thank you, she said softly. You saved me from my own doubt. Reyes smiled, his eyes warm. Your Highness, it was our honor. Around them, guests exchanged gifts, flowers, teas. Fabrics, each gesture simple, yet full of meaning. As the ceremony ended, Sorella led her guests to the balcony. The queen moon shone overhead, and the garden glowed below. Humans and aliens shared cups of earth tea and listened to soft harp melodies. Sorella held the earth globe in one hand, the parchment in the other. She felt tears of joy in her eyes. She remembered her pride, her challenge, and the kindness that changed her heart. Later that evening, alone in her private chamber, Princess Sorella placed the globe on her desk beside her bed. She read her wish once more. May all life find strength and kindness. She closed her eyes and let a gentle smile form. She thought of the friends she had made, the lessons she had learned, and the future she would shape. Before sleep, she wrote in her journal, Today, I saw the best of humanity. Their science and their kindness stand together. I am proud to call them allies and friends. She set down her quill and lay back, letting hope and peace fill her mind. In the hush of the night, she knew that her world and theirs would grow stronger with every season. Princess Sorella woke before dawn, the glow of twin moons still bright in her window. Her heart felt light, full of the promise she had given. She dressed in soft robes and stepped onto her balcony. Below, the biogarden stirred with gentle life. She watched as alien blooms and Earth's flowers swayed together in the quiet air. In that moment, she knew the choice she made would bloom for all time. Later, she met Dr. Malik and Ambassador Reyes in the garden pavilion. They brought fresh fruit and warm tea. Sorella smiled as she sipped the sweet brew. Thank you for staying, she said. Reyes bowed. We stand by our friendship, Your Highness. The princess felt a gentle pride. She realized that trust was built in small moments, shared tea, kind words, honest hearts. She felt grateful for every one of them. That afternoon, Sorella invited human volunteers and alien scholars to plan a cultural exchange. They sat under a canopy of glowing vines. Juno spread out maps and schedules. You can teach Earth medicine here, she said. And you can teach us your healing songs. Sorella watched as ideas flowed like a river. Each suggestion carried care and respect. She knew this exchange would shape both peoples. She felt hope rise like the morning sun. A week later, Earth students arrived on the Aranthal. They stepped off the shuttle with wide eyes and bright smiles. Alien guides led them through halls of living gardens and gleaming labs. Sorella welcomed them with a speech about unity and learning. The students cheered softly. In their eager faces, she saw the future. She felt joy in her chest. These young minds would carry the bridge between worlds. Meanwhile, a group of alien youth prepared to visit Earth. They practiced basic human greetings and studied Earth flowers. Sorella met them to share advice. Be curious and kind, she told them. Listen more than you speak. The young aliens nodded, their voices shy but eager. Sorella felt tenderness for them. She remembered how she once doubted humans. She trusted these young explorers to carry friendship across the stars in her private quarters. Sorella wrote letters to Earth families who had shared stories and gifts. She thanked them and invited them to visit the Aranthal's garden. Each letter felt like a seed planted in new soil. She thought of the parents who waited for news of children born under Earth's sun. She felt a quiet happiness, knowing that life seasons would bring joy and love in every world. One evening, she joined a meal with human and alien families. They sat at long tables under soft lantern light. Plates held earth bread and alien fruits that glowed faintly. Laughter rose as children chased firefly drones. One human mother pointed to a glowing flower and told her child a bedtime story. Sorella's eyes filled with tears of delight. In that simple scene, she saw life's true power, community, and love shared across worlds. Later, she walked alone through the silent corridors. She paused at the banner she had draped in the hall. The painted flowers seemed to bloom again in memory. She touched the fabric gently. Memories of challenge gave way to gratitude. She thought of the gift of trust she received and the gift she returned. Her smile was soft and full of promise. That night, as she prepared for rest, Sorella looked up at the twin moons and whispered, "May we always choose kindness." She felt a steady warmth in her heart. Tomorrow would bring new lessons and new friends. But she knew that the greatest lesson was already learned. True strength comes when we open our hearts. The hush of her chamber, she dreamed of a future where every season held hope and every life found its bloom. Princess Sorella awoke to the soft glow of dawn filtering through her curtains. Today marked the final gathering between humans and her people aboard the Aranthal. She dressed in robes of pale lavender, chosen for their warmth and gentle hue. As she stepped onto the balcony, she inhaled the cool morning air and watched the bio-garden below come alive. Dew sparkled on alien ferns and earth blossoms alike. A gentle breeze carried the scent of honey and wild mint. In her chest, a quiet joy settled, like a gentle song. She made her way to the central courtyard, where long tables had been arranged in a wide circle. On each table, humans and aliens shared simple dishes, fresh fruit slices, soft bread steaming, bowls of herb broth, and small cakes sweetened with alien honey. Volunteers arranged flowers in clear vases. Sorella paused at the entrance and smiled as she saw children chasing glowing drones above the tables, laughter floating like music. She felt her heart swell with warmth. Dr. Malik greeted her with a respectful bow. "Good morning, Your Highness," he said quietly. She returned his bow and touched his arm. "Thank you for all you've done," she replied. He nodded, his eyes bright. Around them, humans and aliens exchanged stories and gifts. Sorella watched Ambassador Reyes help a young alien girl taste a slice of strawberry. She felt grateful to see differences set aside in the simple act of sharing food. When the guests had settled, Sorella stepped into the center of the circle. The murmurs quieted as she raised her hand. "Friends," she began in her clear, gentle voice, "we are here not only to celebrate proof, but to honor the bonds we have formed. You came with questions, and you brought answers. You offered knowledge and kindness, and you taught us what it means to choose life with care." She paused to let her words sink in. She saw soft smiles on many faces. She continued, "Today, we stand united by more than science. We stand united by our shared hopes and compassion. We have learned that growth is not only measured in seasons, but in trust and friendship." Around the courtyard, humans and aliens nodded. Children paused in their play, listening to the princess's steady words. Sorella felt tears of joy rise, but she held them back so her voice would not waver. Next, she invited a human volunteer, Leah, to speak. Leah stood and took a small garden trowel from her belt. In her hands, she held a young sapling, a hybrid of earth and alien roots. "This sapling thrives because it draws strength from both soils," Leah said, voice soft but clear. She gently planted it in a pot filled with mixed soil. As she covered its roots, humans and aliens watched together. Sorella felt the moment's simple power, a living symbol of unity. After the planting, the guests rose and formed pairs, each human with an alien. They moved to stations around the courtyard. one where they shared personal stories of hope and family plans, another where they exchanged seeds and spores to grow new plants, a third where they sketched designs for a shared science academy. Sorella circulated among them, offering gentle words of encouragement. She paused to watch an alien scholar marvel as a human student demonstrated a wristband that glowed during fertile cycles. Both knelt together in wonder. As the gathering wound down, Sorella led everyone back to the balcony. The twin moons were still faint in the morning sky. She held the parchment with her wish. May all life find strength and kindness. And the wooden globe etched with waves and trees. In a soft voice, she said, "These symbols now belong to all of us. Carry them as reminders of what we can achieve together." She handed the items to Ambassador Reyes, who received them with a bow. He turned and placed them at the balcony's edge, where breeze and light would touch them both. Finally, Sorella addressed the volunteers and scholars. "Let us continue to learn from each other. Let this ship be a beacon where knowledge and compassion grow side by side."
The guests
cheered softly, and children danced around the tables once more. The princess watched until each face carried a bright spark of hope. When the last guest departed, Sorella walked through the quiet courtyard alone. Moonlight lingered on petals, and the hybrid sapling stood like a promise. She knelt and touched its leaves, feeling their soft texture. "Grow well," she whispered. Rising, she made her way to her private chambers. There, she placed the wooden globe on her desk beside her journal. She opened the book and wrote a final entry. "Today, I saw unity bloom. Our worlds are richer for each other's gifts." She closed the book and touched the globe, feeling its carved waves and trees under her fingers. That night, Princess Sorella gazed at her reflection in the window, framed by twin moons. She saw not only a ruler, but a student of kindness and science. She whispered to herself, "May every season ahead be guided by compassion." As she lay down, her thoughts drifted to future journeys, shared discoveries, and the gentle strength of life chosen with care. In the hush of her chamber, she dreamed of gardens where alien ferns and earth blossoms would always thrive together.